Good morning, everyone. It's the morning of day 2. Just climbed up a big hill out of the camp spot. It's almost 8 a.m., which is a little bit later start than I would prefer to get, but I'm not efficient at sort of breaking down camp yet. But today I thought I'd talk a little bit about sort of how I navigate. And so let me flip the camera around here. So you can see the sign for where I camped last night at the Crampton Gap shelter. It was sort of, 3 miles off trail. And so you'll notice this sort of blue blaze on this trail. So if you're heading off the Appalachian Trail, to see maybe a view or a camp spot or something like that, then you will typically see a blue blaze. And then the trail itself is marked with white blazes. So it's, 2 by 6 inch sort of paint on the trees. And those are probably every, a couple hundred yards or so. And so that helps you navigate. And then when I take my first break, I'll talk about, looking at the guidebook and sort of how I plan my day. But for now, let's get started. Okay, here's what the trail looks like this morning. Not too bad currently. Thought I'd talk a little bit about emotional variance. Feel kind of bad I didn't do much of a wrap-up video yesterday. I was feeling pretty beat at the end of the day. Emotions are kind of all over the place out here. So, last 72 hours, right, the night before I departed, and my wife was kind of joking. She's like, "Are you sure you don't want to have a normal midlife crisis and we can just buy you a motorcycle?" And I said, "No, unfortunately for both of us, I have no interest in motorcycles." But it was sort of it was lighthearted. But then the day I actually left, right, my wife dropped me off very early at the airport, and it was more sad, right? It's hard to leave, right? This is my dream, right? And she's very supportive, right? But I am definitely imposing a cost on my wife on doing this. And it's sad, right? I felt sort of guilty. I felt sad. But then you get on the plane and, you get off the plane and you get to Harper's Ferry and you go to the ATC and you get your hang tag and, you start meeting hikers and, the day of you actually, you wake up and you're ready to sprint down the trail because you're all enthusiastic because you're doing something that you've wanted to do for a very long time, right? And I think I was pretty happy, pretty cheery, right? And that was probably true for about the first, 7 or 8 miles. And then sort of at the end of the day yesterday, I was really dragging. And so I started thinking, oh man, like, do I really have what it takes to do this? And I was kind of getting down on myself. And so, but then this morning, right, again, it's, you rest, and I got decent sleep. And so now I'm, I think back in a better frame of mind. So I probably need to do more filming, maybe when I'm not in a good state of mind, right? Maybe give a more realistic portrayal of what hiking this trail is actually like. So I'll try to do a better job of that. But I think part of the problem yesterday was, obviously I don't have a high level of fitness right now. I think that'll come, but I need to do a better job of eating and drinking. So I've got more water today. I'll try to eat more frequently, take more breaks, etc. So anyway, I'll try to get better at, filming and giving you a more accurate portrayal of what the trail's like. But for now, I'll put the camera away and we'll continue to move on. It's a pretty warm day, much warmer than yesterday. I think the high is supposed to be 80. Which I think is unseasonably high, but we'll try to do as many miles as we can while it's still relatively cool. See you on down the trail. Okay, everybody, we're about 3 miles in, and so sort of first pack off break, and so I thought I'd sort of show you the guidebook in the spirit of talking about sort of navigation. So I spent the last night at Crampton Gap Shelter, so that is northbound mile marker 1036.8. So remember, again, we started yesterday at 1025.8, so that was 11 miles. And so just I had to read this, right? The shelter, it gives you sort of distances to the next shelter. So the next shelter would have been additional 5 miles, and then there's one 12.5 ahead, 20.7 miles ahead. And then if you're going southbound, there would be one 4.1 miles ahead, 20 and 34.2, okay? So it shows you that the shelter was, 0.3 off the trail, and that was a steep 0.3 for sure. When the shelter was built, then it's also got you know, this half moon sign is basically a privy, which is just a backcountry term for an outhouse. This sort of half empty water droplet says that's a spring, but it's unreliable. And as you can see, it says get water from Gathland State Park, which is what I did in the dry season, and it is definitely dry right now. The tent shows that there is a tenting area. That's where I stayed. There was also a small shelter. I did not stay in the shelter. But then you've got basically what this does is you sort of read this from, you know, going down the page. You can look and you can see the elevation, right? So again, we've sort of climbed up here. Where am I at? I'm just shy of here, right? So we've been kind of steadily climbing all day. Right, we'll get to a viewpoint in a little bit and then come down here. So as far as where am I going to stay tonight, Maryland is a little bit unique in that you can't just throw your tent up anywhere. So you have to stay at established campsites. So the first logical spot would be Dahlgren Backpack Campground at 1043.6. So that'd only be what? You know, 7 miles, even a little less than 7 miles. So that's a little bit short, but the issue is I don't see anything else for a while. And so if you go to the next page, Pine Knob Shelter 1049.3, so that would be 12.5 if my math is correct. 1036.8, yeah, 12.5. Now, I would say 12.5 is probably a little bit longer than I would prefer to go. Right? I'd prefer to keep it around 10, judging from yesterday's experience. But I don't really have much of a choice, right? I've either got to stop short of what I think I could do or go longer. I guess the pros of stopping short, right? I can, you know, give myself a break. I'll probably be there early. I could find the flattest tent spot, right? Not have to worry. But again, I've got enough food to make it to town, but you know, obviously I'd have a preference if I could make it to push on. So we'll make it to the 7 mile stop and then we'll just see where we're at. But I've also, so this is the sort of paper map that I use. I like using paper maps just in case my phone dies. I do have a PDF copy of this on my phone. I also have an app called Far Out. And so Far Out uses GPS, so I can sort of see where I'm at and I can click on things. And they've also got comments, so things like, okay, is this stream flowing, or etc. So I do use sort of a mixture, but I can't show you the Far Out app simply because I'm filming on my camera. So anyway, hopefully if you're new to backpacking videos, hopefully you found this sort of interesting. We'll see you down the trail. Okay, everybody, we reached the summit of White Rocks. So this is the first, I think, really pretty view that I've had. So we're looking south. So I'm not sure, maybe we hiked this ridge. I don't know. Hard to say, but we just had a quick break, but I'm going to take another break and have a snack. All right, everyone, we've arrived at our lunch spot for the day. So this is Rocky Run Shelters. Here's an example of what shelters look like on the AT if you're not familiar. This is a pretty nice new one, but they've got, you know, picnic table. This one is a sort of a double-decker. See if we can get in focus here. So you can sleep in there. There's campsites on the ridge. I don't know if you can see over here. You've got bear poles, which is what I used to hang my food last night. Right, just sort of poles you can do there. And if I pan back this way, you can see the privy, right, which again, just an outhouse there. But again, this is pretty nice. I'm not going to stay here, but this will be a good lunch spot. Okay, everybody. It's a little bit, maybe 1:45. Had a long lunch break there. I have made the decision to stop at the shorter option today. I am pretty tired. There's another husband and wife couple, I assume they're husband and wife, that I just met at the lunch spot. And I had seen them at the camp last night and I saw they had hang tags just like I do. And so I asked where you're headed, and they said, oh, to Maine. And I was like, oh, me too. Just started yesterday. And so, yeah, we're all trying to do the same thing. And I said, how you feeling? And they're like, oh, they're totally smashed. And I was like, yeah, and none of us really expected it. I don't think, right, there's plenty of resources or videos or whatever when people are starting in Georgia. And so I think if you start in Georgia, by the time you get here, Maryland, you know, it's a fairly short state. And to them, it's probably not that hilly, not that rocky, and I know right now this trail looks good, but I didn't film a lot of the rocks earlier because I was trying not to trip and smash my face open, but I sort of wasn't, you know, I wasn't expecting the level of elevation and rocks that I'm encountering. So I'll get to camp early today and be able to set up my tent, all right, find a good spot and just relax. Tomorrow's supposed to be a lot cooler. I'll try to get up much earlier and then, you know, formulate a plan. So anyway, I think it's less than 2 miles to the shelter, or 2 miles to the campground. So I'll catch up with there. Okay, I've reached some sort of historical marker. The Battle of South Mountain was in September of 1862. I'm a wildly unqualified tour guide since I have no idea what I'm looking at and I've never been here before, but anyway, it gives me an excuse to take my pack off. All right, if you're more interested, you can read about the Maryland campaign of 1862. All right, the burial marker of Brigadier General Samuel Garland. According to the sign, Garland was a Confederate general, and the other one we previously looked at that was for a Union general. So two generals lost their lives, same battle, same place. Again, pretty interesting, but I'm gonna keep on moving. Okay, everyone, we've arrived at Dahlgren's Backpackers Campsite. Fantastic. So they've got restrooms, also have bear poles for hanging your food. Got quite a few tent pads, although that's gravel. I thought that'd be a little bit harder. So this is the setup for the night. I don't think I showed you the tent last night. So again, if you want to know my gear, I've got a gearless video, but this is the Z-Packs Duplex. So yeah, pretty happy with it. Got to still throw the sleeping bag out there and then unpack everything. But here pretty early. Right, it's not even 3 o'clock yet, I don't think. The walk down from that Civil War area was quite easy, so I apologize if I disparaged Maryland's rocky terrain. It feels strange to sort of wrap up the day before 5 o'clock, but I'm beat. So only 6.8 miles today, so combined with the 11, that's 17.8 miles total, so that'd be an 8.9 average per day. That's not very many. That's less than I anticipated. So but I don't want to let my ego get in the way, right? So these are, I mean, there's a reason why 80% of people fail at this, and I think maybe one of those reasons are people just grind themselves into dust too early before their body's adapted. So I'm trying to make mature decisions here, although I don't claim to always make the best decisions, right? If I made perfect decisions, I probably wouldn't be out here. But if I have to take it slow, I'll take it slow. But right now, I'm just going to basically rest and relax. I'm going to edit the video. All I really have to do is make dinner and hang my food, but that's really easy with the facilities here. So I'm just going to relax, try to get up early in the morning. Should be cooler tomorrow. And so I'll see you tomorrow.
If you enjoyed this video, I would ask two things. First, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those actions help us grow the community so that we can put more good out into the world. Second, when I'm not out on an adventure, I am a college professor. A college education can be transformative, but college is an expensive proposition. However, I think we can help, so I'm asking you to please donate to support scholarships for students at the Sam M. Walton College of Business at the University of Arkansas. There are two ways you can navigate to the donation page. First, you can scan the QR code that you see on the screen. Please have cookies enabled in your browser. The second method is to navigate to the URL that you see on the screen or in the description to this video. When you arrive at that page, what should you see? Well, you will be on the online giving website for the University of Arkansas. You should notice that the designation and the other department, program, or fund fields are automatically populated. That's going to tell the fundraising personnel to automatically associate any funds raised with our effort here on this channel. All you have to do is enter an amount and your personal information. I will keep you up to date with our fundraising progress as we move through the adventure. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you on the next video.